The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, I have come to set the earth on fire, and how I wish it were already blazing. There is a baptism with which I must be baptized, and how great is my anguish until it is accomplished. Do you think that I have come to establish peace on the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. From now on, a household of 5 will be divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. A father will be divided against his son, and a son against his father, a mother against her daughter, and a daughter against her mother, a mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I've always felt uncomfortable with this gospel passage because it sounds so un-Jesus-like. And what I mean by that is when we usually think of Jesus, we think of things like peace, love, joy, and harmony. Well, this passage does not paint that kind of rosy picture at all. Jesus must have raised some eyebrows when he told his disciples that he has come not to establish peace, but division. Family members against each other, households divided, and the works. And he also said, I have come to set the world on fire, which not only sounds a bit on the destructive side, but usually symbolizes judgment. In Jewish writings, that's what fire usually indicated. Well, however horrible these particular images may seem, Jesus is not interested in painting a kind of a fantasy world that we often wish it would be, but he's painting a real picture of the world which is very much divided over who Jesus is. Is he truly God? Is he a prophet? Is he just a human being who did nice things? Did he even exist? Or is he just a made-up story character? Many people still wonder these things around the world. With these images, Jesus offers the true picture of what it means to follow him. And it's not always pleasant. When we fully live out his truth, there will be people, even those closest to us like family, who cannot accept it. Jesus basically is asking us here, do you believe in me and love me enough that you'd be even willing to oppose your closest relatives or friends who oppose me? Would you compromise your faith in me just to please your family and your friends? It's a very challenging question, but a very important one to ask. Following Jesus is not always about warm, happy, comfy feelings. It's doing what's right. That's more important. And at times, that may involve rejection or suffering, sometimes being thrown into prison, or death in some cases. All the apostles except John died martyrs' deaths for Jesus. You know, in the early years of the church, the Romans saw a growing number of their citizens become Christian. And many Roman households became bitterly divided from that, with some of them sticking with their Roman gods and way of life, while others rejected those handed-down beliefs in favor of Jesus and his teachings. And really, that's a part of the reason why Roman emperors started to persecute the earliest Christians, because they saw Christians as dividing up their kingdom, causing disharmony. And they would have none of that. And you know, many today still want harmony without Jesus in the picture. I know many people who've told me they've been mocked or rejected by friends or family for either sticking with their Catholic beliefs or wanting to even become Catholic. And you know, many people today, even many Catholics, want all the joy and pleasure from life, but do without all that sin and suffering stuff, which is part of Jesus' equation. And you know, there are a growing number of atheists in our world today who aggressively promote this belief through books and billboards and conferences and the media. It's everywhere. Catholic writer Mark Nielsen put it beautifully when he wrote this, and I quote him. Jesus seems to say that he will have no part of a fake peace that is really just an avoidance of conflict, passion, and engagement. His ministry would not be without difficulties, and his disciples should expect the same." End quote. Well, since Jesus is all about telling the truth, we can't just ignore or write off real divisions and differences between faiths or between Christian denominations or the many different philosophies in this world. Jesus is never about relativizing everything, which is what a lot of people like to do in society today, thinking that one belief or religion is just as equal or as good as another. That's wrong. Totally incorrect. Jesus should take a backseat to nobody or any idea. If we wish to embrace the love of Jesus, then we have to embrace his whole truth as well, as taught by his church, which at times may be quite demanding of us. Yes, I agree that we do need to celebrate the beliefs that we share in common with other faiths and other Christian denominations, but we also need to work hard to resolve the differences that still lie between us. We all wish the world were truly one, and Jesus even prayed for that if you read John 17, but in reality, it's not one, is it? And such division should spur us on to some greater dialogue with people and a sense of loving respect and trying to iron out our differences so that someday, hopefully, we can be truly one in Christ. You know, Pope Francis has said a number of times that true disciples of Jesus work hard to build bridges between people, not walls. In a homily in 2013, he said this: "Christians who are afraid to build bridges and prefer to build walls are Christians who are not sure of their faith, not sure of Jesus Christ." End quote. And you know, thank God we've made a lot of progress in building bridges for that unity in the world, especially over the last 50 years, but we still got a lot of work to do, don't we? A long way to go. One of the more hopeful signs that I have noticed of bridge building between peoples and nations in recent days is the Olympics. Whether you're a sports fan or not, or an Olympics fan or not, is not the point. The meaning and spirit behind the Olympics goes beyond that. And although there's a lot of competition with countries hoping to outdo each other in the medal count, there's always joy to be sensed in the various nations coming together for this grand occasion. It really symbolizes that we have much more in common in our humanity than our governments seem to indicate at times. And of course, it's intended to promote respect in the world, and it's promoting openness to other people of other cultures and other lands. Especially the opening ceremonies, it's beautiful to see that. Of course, the Olympics never seem to be without some controversy, with accusations of cheating and doping and bias of officials being some of the most publicized ones, including this year. And yet there have been some noteworthy moments to give us all a bit of hope at the Olympics. For example, you may have seen in the news a recent selfie photo between two female athletes. They took this together, one being from South Korea and the other being from North Korea. Two countries that have had a long track record of animosity towards each other. And yet, when you see the photo of the two girls showing off what seem to be genuine smiles and appreciation of each other, many people around the world were very touched by that gesture, leading many of them to think, gee, why can't government officials try to be more like that? Try to enjoy what they have in common rather than hurl insults at each other, threatening violence and vengeance. Another feel-good story at the Olympics this year was saluted by Pope Francis himself, who joyfully acknowledged a special team in this year's Olympics. It's a group of 10 athletes known as the Refugee Olympic Team, made up of people who have fled violence from their homelands, from Syria, South Sudan, the Congo, and Ethiopia. And Pope Francis made the following statement in late July to these 10 athletes, and he said this: "I extend my greetings and wish you success at the Olympic Games in Rio, that your courage and strength find expression through the Olympic Games and serve as a cry for peace and solidarity." And by this team's wonderful example, the Pope wished that humanity would understand that peace is possible. That with peace, everything can be gained, but with war, all can be lost. End quote. And you know, it's the first time in Olympic history that a refugee team has been a part of it. And their presence at these games reminds us that we all have a share in the work to be done to make that dream of peace and harmony a reality. It's possible if we all show the same desire for that kind of bridge building. So in conclusion, I ask you this. What about you? Have you acted as a bridge builder with everyone you met lately? Taking time to greet them, maybe with a warm smile, talking to others with a sense of love and care, perhaps trying to get to know them better? Or have you put up walls between you and certain people? Not liking them for this or that, not forgiving them for past failures, not seeing them as children of God, but as threats. May the fire of Jesus' Spirit purify our hearts and inflame us to be new, greater signs of hope and love of Christ for all the world to see.